10 cent, starting to move lower. Mark had a really nice put on that. You guys are going to be profiting from TME today. Next up, Big Trade Jim is asking me about Oxy. Instead of Oxy, let's talk XOM, because this is another little revisit from yesterday. XOM, as I identified, looking at XOM flying through that thin zone to the downside. And here was yesterday, if you guys were trading XOM again to the downside here, it keeps moving through that thin zone. We're getting to our support around 103.22. Ultimate support is 100 in XOM. Next up, Just Jen is looking at XPEV. All right, this is interesting because I wouldn't trade this one quite yet, but if we do make a break out of the value area here, it does look bullish. If we can make a break out of the value area here, I have an upside target of 1633 in XPEV. I need it to break out of the value area. I need it to break above 1381, and it's looking really nice for a squeeze higher here in XPEV. Also, I just want to do a little uh, uh, spotlight on Citigroup. I know you guys are looking to short Citigroup, but looking at Citigroup, we actually found a nice little support here in Citigroup. So if there's a cheap way to play this one bullish to the upside to 48.92, I would be looking at a little bullish play here. Your risk is that we break this volume node and then you'd want to go short it. So again, it would be a nice little fun trade to the upside if it stands as a cheap play. Mark, let's bring you in here. We already went over XOM, knocked it out of the park with TME. Great job. We're looking at an upside in XPEV should it break above that level, and maybe even a little bonus bullish play in Citigroup. Is Big Money confirming or denying any of this technical analysis?
And all we're seeing is bearish flow on the banks. It's Citigroup in particular. It just broke below the 50-day moving average. I look at banks as a whole, and I want to be short them. I'd rather. I think you want to.
If that's the case, Mark,
what?
if that's the
What's
case,
that?
if that's the
Yeah.
case, then we would be looking to break this node here, and then we're looking at a downside of 42 in Citi. If you're seeing big money flow.
That makes some sense on that one. You think we're going to
Okay.
go to 42? Then we'll buy next week's 43.5 puts. They're 55 cents. I think that'll make us some money.
All right.
I think that you look at the banks and the way they're moving with the yield curve inverted the way it is. There's some problems there. I'm going to buy the December 16th 43.5 puts. I'm going to pay 55 cents.
All right, we're going to put that trade in the chat. See, that's what's really cool, Mark, is that there were two ways to trade this volume profile. Your big money flow is seeing bearish flow, so we're going to take the bearish side of the VP. Love it, tag team. Mark, let's get into more big money flow. You see some interesting action in BITO. Good or bad?
Yeah, this is the Bitcoin ETF, and people are wondering whether crypto is going to go up or down or what. What if it doesn't do anything and just sits here? That's what this trader is banking on. The trader did what's called an iron condor. The trader sold the 10 puts and the 11 calls, and then bought the 9 puts and the 12 calls. So looks a lot like a butterfly, but because the two short strikes aren't on the same strike, it's technically an iron condor. And the trader is basically saying Bitcoin's not going anywhere between now and the end of the year, because these are December 30. They sold the 10 puts and the 11 calls, bought the hedge around it, essentially telling us Bitcoin is doing nothing for the next month.
All right, so Mark, you have skilled our members into what a butterfly is, but brush up on what an iron condor is besides an awesome heavy metal band.
Yeah, iron condor. That would be funny. So an iron condor and a butterfly actually have very similar characteristics, especially this one because they're so close together. But an iron condor is, Garrett likes to trade strangles. It's essentially a hedge strangle. What I'm doing is I'm selling an out of the money put and I'm selling an out of the money call, and then I'm buying a further out of the money put and further out of the money call against it to hedge my risk, to limit my my margin exposure. So the trader, when I do something like that, I'm essentially laying out an area where I think that the underlying is not going to break out of that. In this case, Beto is what? It is $10.61 as of yesterday. It's $10.51 right now. The trader is telling us this is not going to go above 11 and it's not going to go below 10. It's basically setting a range.
Mark, there is actually a very cool strategy with the volume profile that is great for iron condors. And I know you're going to be
Oh, really?
later. Yes, there is. And I know you're going to be on the trade the close later, so maybe we could brush up on that and get into
All
that
right.
strategy with our members and trade the close. But you're also getting some diamond hand action on the one and only AMC. Diamond hands, Mark? Really?
It's interesting. We got to listen to Kenny talk about a short squeeze. You want to see a short squeeze? Look what happened with AMC on the first when it ran all the way up to $9.15. It has since pulled back. It is back to the 50-day moving average. The borrow rate is still pretty high in this one. So I'm not sure I fully am on board with these puts, but a trader is essentially betting with some decent size that AMC is going to drop back below $6. They bought the December 16th 6 puts for 21 cents, and they're making a pretty strong bet that AMC is going to pull back. Remember, this was on the 9th, $5.05. So the trader is betting that this thing is going back from whence it came. I can't say I disagree with them.
All right. So, Mark, if you don't disagree with them, how would you trade these flows?
Well, AMC, I want to see that borrow rate come up. And frankly, I don't love shorting a $6 stock, but there there might be something there. I'll take a look at it in profit takeover. Bitcoin, I'd rather just trade actual Bitcoin options. They're way
Mhm.
juicier than Beto itself. So if you like the Bitcoin option, if you like Beto or you like